Your interrogation confirmed. Your version of the truth is all that matters.
Truth is singular. Its versions are mistruths.
Hello. Hang on, let me see if I can make it so you can see me a little better. Is that better? Okay, let's see if we've got anybody in the chat since I'm late as usual. But these are spontaneous live streams anyways, so you know how it goes. So it looks like this says there's 4 people. Welcome, welcome. You know, when it plays the intro, it gives people time, you know, to kind of file in. Oh, that's not supposed to be there right now. Oh, yeah, it is. Never mind. I was having a moment. Pardon my wet hair. We're going to go on with the Law of One, the I Am Ra series, and this is part 2 of the last one that we were sharing. And remember in part 12 that I already shared, it was talking about Moses and what happened to him at the top of Mount Sinai. So the truth is coming through, and it's not exactly what we've been taught. It is actually the Law of One. So, you know, I think I should probably wait for a few more people to file in to start it, because it is so deep and so profound, and it takes religion like right out of the mix. I mean, it just, but let me reiterate, your belief is your sovereign right to believe. You have the right to believe however you want to, as long as your belief doesn't encroach on other people and other people's sovereignty. And you just love unconditionally with unconditional forgiveness and service to others. So, and this one is pretty amazing because it even talks about dreams and things like that that go on. And the way that they can interfere with us is through thought. And that, you know, you could be having glorious dreams of the new earth and everything, and then have a dream of something like terrible happening. And then what do then? You go right into service for self. You start stocking up goods and wares in your house, or then you start, you know, or thinking about moving away from that area, and you stop thinking about service to others. So I'm not trying to front load. I want you guys to come to your own conclusions, you know, while viewing this material. And at least I am putting a record out, so it is freshly out and circulating again. These are from 1981. So the information that was shared in 1981 is so profound, because here we are several decades later, and the things that were shared are so relevant and so pertinent to the times that we're living in, and to humanity as a whole, waking up to all of these effects around us, Mandela effects, people call them shifts or different timelines, or, you know, there's several different terminologies that we use, but I just want you to keep in mind that this is from 1981, and the channel, if you're, and it's It's got 106 parts to it. It's very deep wisdom. If you're wanting, I did in the description box is the channel. You can go there yourself and look at this and go as far as you want to and get way ahead of me, or take it as you can handle it. But we'll discuss it right after the clip. I love all you late nighters. I just really do. Hi YOLO X, how are you? Are you my only person? It says there's 7. So, and we may have a pop-on guest. You know how we roll. We may take phone calls too. You never know. You never know. So let me share this with you guys and then we'll talk about it. Where are you? There we go. Off to the races.
I am Ra. I greet you in the love and in the light of the infinite Creator. Before we communicate by answer, we shall correct an error which we have discovered in the transmission of our information to you. We have difficulty dealing with your time-space. There may again be errors of this type. Feel free to question us that we may recalculate in your time-space measurements. The error we have discovered concerns one of the arrivals of both the Orion group into your planetary sphere of influence and the corresponding arrival of emissaries of the Confederation. We gave dates of 2,600 years for the Orion entry, 2,300 for Confederation entry. This is incorrect. The recalculation indicates numbers 3,600 for Orion entry, 3,300 for Confederation entry. We communicate now. Question 17.1. Questioner, thank you very much. I would like to say again that we consider it a great honor, privilege, and duty to be able to do this particular work. I would like to reiterate that some of my questions may seem irrelevant at times, but I am trying to ask them in a manner so as to gain a foothold into the application of the law of one. We are now in the 4th density. Will the effects of the 4th density increase in the next 30 years? Will we see more changes in our environment and our effect upon our environment? Answer, I am Ra. The 4th density is a vibrational spectrum. Your time-space continuum has spiraled your planetary sphere and your, what we would call galaxy, what you call star, into this vibration. This will cause the planetary sphere itself to electromagnetically react in its vortices of perception of the in-streaming of cosmic forces expressing themselves as vibrational webs so that the Earth thus be 4th density magnetized, as you may call it. This is going to occur with some inconvenience, as we have said before, due to the energies of the thought forms of your peoples which disturb the orderly constructs of energy patterns within your Earth spirals of energy which increases entropy and unusable heat. This will cause your planetary sphere to have some ruptures in its outer garment while making itself appropriately magnetized for 4th density. This is the planetary adjustment. You will find a sharp increase in the number of people, as you call mind, body, spirit complexes, whose vibrational potentials include the potential for 4th vibrational distortions. Thus, there will seem to be, shall we say, a new breed. These are those incarnating for 4th density work. There will also be a sharp increase in the short run of negatively oriented or polarized mind, body, spirit complexes and social complexes, due to the polarizing conditions of the sharp delineation between 4th density characteristics and 3rd density self-service orientation. Those who remain in 4th density upon this plane will be of the so-called positive orientation. Many will come from elsewhere, for it would appear that with all the best efforts of the Confederation, which includes those from your people's inner planes, inner civilizations, and those from other dimensions, the harvest will still be much less than this planetary sphere is capable of comfortably supporting in service. Question 17.2. Questioner, is it possible by the use of some technique or other to help an entity to reach 4th density level in these last days? Answer, I am Ra. It is impossible to help another being directly. It is only possible to make catalysts available in whatever form, the most important being the radiation of realization of oneness with the Creator from the Self, less important being information such as we share with you. We ourselves do not feel an urgency for this information to be widely disseminated. It is enough that we have made it available to 3, 4, or 5. This is extremely ample reward, for if one of these obtains fourth density understanding due to this catalyst, then we shall have fulfilled the law of one in the distortion of service. We encourage a dispassionate attempt to share information without concern for numbers or quick growth among others. That you attempt to make this information available is, in your terms, your service. The attempt, if it reaches one, reaches all. We cannot offer shortcuts to enlightenment. Enlightenment is, of the moment, an opening to intelligent infinity. It can only be accomplished by the self, for the self. Another self cannot teach, learn enlightenment, but only teach, learn information, inspiration, or a sharing of love, of mystery, of the unknown that makes the other self reach out and begin the seeking process that ends in a moment. But who can know when an entity will open the gate to the present? Question 17.3. Questioner, in meditation I got the question about the crater in Russia in the, I believe, Tunguska region. Can you tell me what caused the crater? Answer, I am Ra. The destruction of a fission reactor caused this crater. Question 17.4. Questioner, whose reactor? Answer, I am Ra. This was what you may call a drone sent by Confederation which malfunctioned. It was moved to an area where its destruction would not cause infringement upon the will of mind, body, spirit complexes. It was then detonated. Question 17.5. Questioner, what was its purpose in coming here? Ra, it was a drone designed to listen to the various signals of your peoples. You were, at that time, beginning work in a more technical sphere. We were interested in determining the extent and the rapidity of your advances. This drone was powered by a simple fission motor or engine as you would call it. It was not that type which you now know, but was very small. However, it has the same destructive effect upon third density molecular structures. Thus as it malfunctioned we felt it was best to pick a place for its destruction rather than attempt to retrieve it, for the probability modes for this maneuver looked very, very minute. Question 17.6. Questioner, was its danger both blast and radiation? Answer, I am Ra. There is very little radiation, as you know of it, in this particular type of device. There is radiation which is localized, but the localization is such that it does not drift with the winds as does the emission of your somewhat primitive weapons. Question 17.7. Questioner, I believe that analysis has detected very little radiation in this area. Is this low level of radiation a result of what you are speaking of? Answer, I am Ra. This is correct. The amount of radiation is very localized. However, the energy which is released is powerful enough to cause difficulties. Question 17.8. Questioner, then was the Confederation responsible for the Earth receiving nuclear power? Answer, I am Ra. It is a point which one cannot judge what is cause. The basic equation which preceded this work was an equation brought through by a wanderer dedicated to service to the planet. That this work should have become the foundation for instruments of destruction was not intended and was not given. Question 17.9. Questioner, can you tell me who this wanderer was who brought through the equation? Answer, I am Ra. This information seems harmless as this entity is no longer of your planetary third density. This entity was named Sound Vibratory Complex, Albert. Question 17.10. Questioner, thank you. Can you tell me who was the entity before his incarnation on Earth, known as Jesus of Nazareth? Answer, I am Ra. I have difficulty with this question as it is phrased. Can you discover another form for this query? Question 17.11. Questioner, what I meant to say was, can you tell me if Jesus of Nazareth came from the Confederation before incarnation here? Answer, I am Ra. The one known to you as Jesus of Nazareth did not have a name. This entity was a member of fifth density of the highest level of that suboctave. This entity was desirous of entering this planetary sphere in order to share the love vibration in as pure a manner as possible. Thus, this entity received permission to perform this mission. This entity was then a wanderer of no name, of Confederation origins, of fifth density, representing the fifth density understanding of the vibration of understanding or love. This should be fourth. Ra corrects the error in the next answer. Question 17.12. Questioner, did you say the fifth vibration was that of love? Answer, I am Ra. I have made an error. The fourth density being as that which we intended to say, the highest level of fourth density going into the fifth. This entity could have gone on to the fifth but chose instead to return to third for this particular mission. This entity was of the highest sub-octave of the vibration of love. This is fourth density. Question 17.13. Questioner, when I am communicating with you as Ra, are you at times individualized as an entity or am I speaking to an entire social memory complex? Answer, I am Ra. You speak with Ra. There is no separation. You would call it social memory complex, thus indicating manyness. To our understanding, you are speaking to an individualized portion of consciousness. Question 17.14. Questioner, am I always speaking to the same individualized portion of consciousness in each of the sessions? Answer, I am Ra. You speak to the same entity through a channel or instrument. This instrument is at times lower in vital energy. This will sometimes hamper our proceedings. However, this instrument has a great deal of faithfulness to the task and gives whatever it is to this task. Therefore, we may continue even when energy is low. This is why we usually speak to the ending of the session due to our estimation of the instrument's levels of vital energy. Question 17.15. Questioner, I would like to make a point clear now that I am sure of myself. The people of this planet, following any religion or no religion at all, or having no intellectual knowledge at all of the law of one, can still be harvested into the fourth density if they are of that vibration. Is that not correct? Answer, I am Ra. This is correct. However, you will find few who are harvestable whose radiance does not cause others to be aware of their, what you may call, spirituality, the quality of the mind, body, spirit complex distortion. Thus, it is not particularly probable that an entity would be completely unknown to his immediate acquaintances as an unusually radiant personality, even were this individual not caught up in any of the distortions of your so-called religious systems. Question 17.16. Questioner, when Jesus of Nazareth incarnated, was there an attempt by the Orion group to discredit him in some way? Answer, I am Ra. This is correct. Question 17.17. Questioner, can you tell me what the Orion group did in order to try to cause his downfall? Answer, I am Ra. We may describe in general what occurred. The technique was that of building upon other negatively oriented information. This information had been given by the one whom your peoples called Yahweh. This information involved many strictures upon behavior and promised power of the third density, service to self-nature. These two types of distortions were impressed upon those already oriented to think these thought forms. This eventually led to many challenges of the entity known as Jesus. It eventually led to one, sound vibration complex, Judas, as you call this entity, who believed that it was doing the appropriate thing in bringing about or forcing upon the one you call Jesus the necessity for bringing in the third density planetary power distortion of third density rule over others. This entity, Judas, felt that, if pushed into a corner, the entity you call Jesus would then be able to see the wisdom of using the power of intelligent infinity in order to rule others. The one you call Judas was mistaken in this estimation of the reaction of the entity, Jesus, whose learning was not oriented towards this distortion. This resulted in the destruction of the bodily complex of the one known as Jesus. Question 17.18. Questioner, then if the entity Jesus was fourth density and there are wanderers on the planet today who came from fifth and sixth density, what was it that Jesus did that enabled him to be such a good healer, and could these fifth and sixth density beings here now do the same? Answer, I am Ra. Those who heal may be of any density which is the consciousness of the spirit. This includes third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. The third density can be one in which healing takes place just as the others. However, there is more illusory material to understand, to balance, to accept, and to move forward from. The gate to intelligent infinity can only be opened when an understanding of the streamings of intelligent energy are opened unto the healer. These are the so-called natural laws of your local space-time continuum and its web of electromagnetic sources or nexi of in-streaming energy. Know then, first, the mind and the body. Then as the spirit is integrated and synthesized, these are harmonized into a mind-body-spirit complex which can move among the dimensions and can open the gateway to intelligent infinity, thus healing self by light and sharing that light with others. True healing is simply the radiance of the self causing an environment in which a catalyst may occur which initiates the recognition of self, by self, of the self-healing properties of the self.
I'm back. You got me smoking a cigarette. Ooh. Isn't that amazing? And, thinking that that was his purpose, was to come and be the king and lord over and oppress people, was the thought that Judas was trying to force him to take his place because of the infinite understandings that he had. But that wasn't his purpose. His purpose was to show service to others and unconditional love. So where Moses went up to Sinai and was influenced by those other beings, which did cause his downfall, we see that Christ went all the way to the end and did not break that service to others, no matter what they tried to show him or what type of things were going on around him. And if, even some places in the Bible, it says when they were talking about, everyday things, that he would giggle, because it's like those things just really didn't matter. When you get that new heart and that understanding that's just goes within you. Let me go over where I can see the chat. When that understanding and understanding goes within you, that it surpasses all understanding. And he volunteered to come in and to show that service to others and unconditional love, and try to raise up. And I have been looking at these, so I may be jumping ahead, but or it may have been in this one, because for some reason when I play it back for you guys here, I can't hear it. So, but I know you can, but I cannot. But this was done in 1981, so we're almost on this being 4 decades old, or done for almost 4 decades ago. And just think of what happened 20 years after this, with everybody watching it all day long on their televisions, and how distraught, and everybody wanted revenge and things like that. So, it brought the whole energy level down. But then we look around, and on another one that I shared, it said that there was, and then this was in 1981, that there was 6,500,000 volunteers coming in. But see, he's outside of time, so we can see, because he talks about things that are in the future, and because he's at a time that's like no time for him to try and concept time in the realm that he's at is very difficult when trying to relay messages. It's just astounding. And I don't think that this information should fall away. I think it needs to be brought back for people to look at, remember, think about, because it speaks on so many things. And it's either going to resonate with you or it's not. You're a sovereign being. You are allowed to have your own thoughts, your own opinions, and make up your own mind and your own choices. That's the beautiful thing about the free will realm that we are in. So, but that could also hinder you from, graduating Earth School, so to speak. And just by breaking it down into those two things, are you in it for service to self, or are you in it for service to others? Do you look after, number one, yourself, or are you looking after others around you? Do you see everybody else as an equal? Or do you think that, there should be a hierarchy because you think there's people that are better than you? I'm here to tell you, there is no one better than you. You're perfect. Look in the mirror and you will see, staring back at you, a guru. Everything you need is within you. It's all based on your freedom of choice. So they can do influences. Let's say you have, and we talked about this right before this clip played, you can have a dream that is so heavenly. You're on the new earth. It's just absolutely wonderful. And you're completely into service to others. And then they will try to influence you with the dream by showing a tsunami or some kind of a catastrophe, where now they're trying to persuade you into, especially if you have dreams and you walk through them, they're trying to persuade you into going into service to self, stocking up your cupboards or moving or relocating, and not worrying about anybody else. But so realize, if you're being messed with in that way, that your heart is in the right place. They're trying to get you to slip up, and you won't. Just keep doing what you're doing, and don't worry about those type of dreams, and just, wake yourself up, or whatever, happens when those kind of things happen, and proceed with the service to self with that unconditional love and unconditional forgiveness. And you will be following the law of one, because realizing that, any body of water, we're all droplets, we're all in it together, and how we resonate with our frequencies will impact those other droplets of water around us, and also the other droplets of water will have an influence on us. And that's why we have to be careful with the company that we keep, and who we surround ourselves with, because we can be influenced by the vortex, the energy field, and the frequencies and the waves that they're putting out from themselves by their choice. So they can influence you, just like the other beings, tried to influence and did influence Judas to go and do what he did, to try to force Christ to do something that he was not here to do. So let me give the room a shout out. Let's see, I'll scroll up to the top. Okay, we got YOLO X, we got Quartz Quantum, we've got Omkar Singhai, I hope I'm saying that right. Aluminum umbrella umbrella lid. That's got to be preliminary. I get the feeling that's him. Hello, Paul Johnston and JJ, Janice Ames, Kaiser's Corner. Oh, welcome everybody. I'm glad you're here. These late night streams are fun. I get a good group, and I can get to know you, and I can see who's getting the notifications and who is not. So, I have not seen the other person, so I don't know if they're wanting to pop on. So, you guys want to do phone calls? We can always do phone calls. I love phone calls. I love hearing from you. I love to see, what your thoughts and opinions are on the clip that I just shared, how it resonates with you, and how important forgiveness is, and unconditional love and service to others is. And, it's like when you're doing something for someone else, you're basically doing it for yourself because you see the oneness in that person. So, and the equality. It's not a matter of who has the most toys or who, who's got the most money, it's all about equality and taking care of one another. You can call, yeah, but are you going to talk this time, Paul, or are you going to worry about the chat lining up with the conversation? I'm just giving you a hard time. Let me open the phone. You may hear it ring, you may not.
This free conference call is provided by Uber Conference. You are the first participant on this Uber conference. Please hold while we wait for the others to join.
There we go. And actually, I'm going to get me out of the way so I can look at the chat and everything and the phone number or the callers calling in. And boop. Put that pretty thing there. Now I can go back to the chat. Okay, the phones are open. If you would like to call, you're more than welcome to. Put link up? What do you mean? It's up. That's the phone number. That's the pin. Moving things around. Janice is always wonderful to talk to any of you that want to call in and share what you thought about that clip. Like I said, they're from 1981, and we're almost on 4 decades. So it's just astounding, and that is what many of us are walking into now. We're walking into this understanding and understanding and unconditional love and forgiveness, and it's a beautiful way to be in service to others rather than service to self. This world will, deceptively try to put us into service to self, and you'll find yourself chasing your tail almost with doing that. 1981 was a great year. Yeah, I was pretty young. It was a couple years later where I had that car accident where I was told I didn't have to come back, but I chose to because of the things that I was shown what would have happened to another individual. I chose to come back, and then that's when I woke up in the hospital with the 48 staples in my head, and oh my gosh, there was no pain where I was at, but as soon as I made the decision to come back, holy moly was it painful. I was like, oh my gosh, this is terrible. Awful pain. I looked like I had went a few rounds with Rocky because my face was so swelled out, and yeah. He didn't tell me anything about that, but it was as soon as my heart connected, zoom, I was back. And then the second accident was about 15 years ago when I was hit by the drunk driver where it broke my neck and my back. And it does seem like people that are going through this cycle end up having, a lot of traumatic events to try to throw you off your heart base. We just cannot allow it. And the further you push that stuff away from you, your health does improve. And then I'm sure everybody knows, what happened with my daughter this year. I mean, and I'm still not off course. Of course, it knocked me off course for a little while. I was completely off balance. And I still have a broken heart over it, but that doesn't mean that I fell off the path or anything like that. So, yeah, interesting. I haven't seen Tony Taylor in a while. I miss her a lot. I miss her so much. Well, the phone number's up for anybody who wants to call. Checking over there because I keep bouncing into the stream and yeah. And back and forth and back and forth. I heard Dan talking about that he doesn't put up, any kind of a outro or, like, share, subscribe and stuff. But part of the reason I put the outro up on my live streams is so you can continue and close up your conversations that you're having with other people, giving you some more time to talk to one another. So, and I also do it because I forget. Like, I'll be so engulfed in a video and then I'll just move on and I'll forget to hit a thumbs up on them. But if they had a little reminder up there, I would hit it because I forget. I don't realize how it impacts content creators. I don't realize how much comments and the thumbs up or thumbs down or whatever helps the content creator. So I need to, have those reminders. Not everybody needs those reminders, but I'm one that does. So, yeah, everybody is unique, but that doesn't mean that there is anyone better than anybody else. Does that make sense? On the other side, yes, I went to a place where it was illuminated, but I didn't see any place where, like, I didn't see a sun. And there was this huge tree, and then there was a log, like, to sit on. And it was really green and vibrant, and it just felt like everything was alive. All I felt was this, I didn't want to leave. It was all love and just, it was so wonderful there. Okay, turn your, okay, I'm going to mute him because he's got, until he gets his background stuff down. And I felt unconditional love. And then this gentleman came walking up to me. I've never seen him before. He had dark hair, about shoulder length, blue eyes. He didn't come up in any robe or anything like that. He was dressed, caller, I'll be right with you. He was dressed very nicely, not like in robes or anything like that. And he sat next to me and we talked. Now, I couldn't remember everything that we talked about. But then he showed me these images, and it was like seeing somebody's life and all different outcomes if I was to not come back. And I couldn't have that for that person. My heart just reached out, and then bam, I was back in my body. But when I was there, it was so beautiful. Everything felt alive. And this one gentleman just came up and he answered all my questions and just was so kind and so full of love. I mean, it just radiated it off of him. It was just amazing. Okay, let's get to the caller. Okay, we got 406. You there? Hello? Okay, I guess they're not there, so... if they decide that they can call back and when they're more prepared. Because I will hear, when the calls come in. But yeah, it was a beautiful experience. But I understand now why I was not able to remember everything when I woke up, because I would have interfered with somebody else's sovereignty, and that wasn't my place. It's not our place to try to oppress other people or get people to believe the way that we believe, or to, get them to submit to, whatever our thought process is. Each of us make our own decisions, and we all have the right to choose. And it just boils down to those two choices. Are you going to be in service to self or service to others? And in your heart, you've already chosen. You already know what kind of a person and what kind of a being that you are. So, and I hope that these clips, bringing them back, I know they're from 1981, but bringing them back, the last time that they were posted was 7 years ago, which I find interesting, synchronistic numbers and things like that. So, it's time to bring them back forward again and share them, so, we can understand, and whether you want to believe them or not is completely up to you. But I think wisdom comes from many different sources, and you can tell how the wisdom is shared, whether it's in service to others or service to self. I knew it was preliminary. I sensed his energy. Nice. And that kind of, after this share tonight, it may help you a little bit with that inner turmoil that you've got going on. And it actually helped me understand quite a bit on, some of these dreams that I've had that, is like, what the heck is that? Why would I have one like this and then one, another one that's completely contrary to it? It wasn't making sense. But then you got to use, discernment in that, and I just check and see, well, what am I feeling from this? Am I feeling oppressed, scared, or am I feeling unconditional love? And that's how I use my discernment. But we all have our ways of figuring out, how things come across to us, and how we make our choices. So, caller, you going to try and call back? Dennis, you're a late nighter. I've got my days and nights so mixed up, but it's just wonderful to come on and live stream where it's kind of quiet, and I'm testing to see who gets notifications. I'm not sharing these on Facebook. I mean, you guys are welcome to. I would appreciate it, because it shows me in the analytics after if anybody has shared it in other platforms and things like that. So I upgraded to something called let me see, I'll tell you what it is. On YouTube, it's Face Buddy or Tube Buddy or something like that. And it gives more accurate information, and it also gives I guess it really doesn't matter what channel I go to. It's always showing me their algorithms and what's going on with them. What I have noticed is each day, as I've been doing these, nightly, or they're at least getting 100 views or 90 views or whatever in one day, which really isn't bad. That's really not bad, considering, I'm busy. I go to other people's and support other content creators. Brian Stavely's an interesting cat. I like him. I really like Karen B. She seems like she's the more spiritual side. He's the more logical side, but he's more aware of his spiritual side than he lets on. You know, you can see it, you can tell, and so I like to partake when I catch them live, and a few others. I listen to Scarab, and I enjoy there. I don't do a lot of chatting. A lot of times I'm just lurking and listening. A lot of times I don't even listen or read the chat. I just listen to what they're sharing and just just contemplate on the things that they're talking about. Lone Eagle is another one that I enjoy. And he was talking about an axis tilt on the planet and how everything would line up if it was at that axis tilt. But one thing that I remember, which would be like a Mandela effect, is there was like from like Florida into the Gulf of Mexico, it formed like a little baby. So I always remember looking at it going, look, it looks like a little baby, but the baby was formed in the water, you know, and the baby's not there anymore. We have a baby head, but we don't have the whole baby like we had before. So something's amuck with that. So I don't, something's changed. It's obvious. It's obvious to those that, or like I was saying, I always recognized, I'm not good with geography, but I always recognize those areas and could do the states and all that in class because of the baby that I saw. It was a full body, had little hands, little feet, little head, but the baby's gone. It's not there anymore. So if I was to take a geography test now, I'd bomb out. Terrible. Terribly. Hi, Tammy. How are you? You've been just listening? Did you watch the clip in the beginning? It's about 15 minutes long. I am doing, like when they break them into 2 parts, I'm putting them together and putting them on Patreon and Bit Chute. So if you go on over to Bit Chute, you'll see them as one unit, and so you can follow them along. And I'm trying out different things here. I do prefer to live stream on YouTube, because we can do more here, but it's always good to have a backup plan. So I do share the Bit Chute because I just started a few days with it, and there's a few videos over there already. So yeah. You've been here all along. Okay, cool. So you did see the clips, and like I said, those are from 1981. I mean, it's some pretty profound wisdom there, and it's not demeaning at all to Christ or even who we call Moses. It's not demeaning to either of them, by the things that are being shared with us. Okay, it doesn't look like anybody's wanting to call. I'll give it a few more minutes and then I'll shut the phones down and come back on screen with you guys. Pre gave me an awesome phone call the other night. You guys are all so amazing. Oh, so okay. You haven't been here too long. Okay. That black screen makes it hard for me to see. That's the only thing I don't like with the YouTube buddy thingy, is that it's hard for me to see what people are saying. Yeah. Or you can, well, the one on Bit Chute is session 12, but it's not broken into 2 parts like we did it here. or actually on session 12, I didn't even show the whole thing at all. I just showed a very small part of it, but over there it's there in its entirety. And Bit Chute, you go over and register just like YouTube, and then you can subscribe to people and stuff, and it's free. Now it is grassroots funded. Everything over there is grassroots funded. So, but we have the policies over there. When you go to register, you'll see a huge difference in the freedoms that you'd have with your sharing and without having to go through. I think it's just the computer system that they've got going on that really mucks up a lot of content creators, and we just want to make sure we have a backup plan for where people can find us if something was to happen. But from what I understand, where we may see a difference is in January. Okay, 406, you're live.
Hi, how you doing again? Paul Johnstone.
Hello, Paul. How are you?
Good, you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm enjoying doing these late night streams. See who's up, who's paying attention, and sharing and having fun with it.
What do you want me to say?
You gonna say
Call in.
you called in? Did you catch the? You might want to turn your volume off on your computer so we don't get the feedback.
Here, I'll watch. Hold on. I could just.
Or put
I can
earbuds
see the
in.
phone call. Is it backlashing?
Yeah, it just echoes back. It echoes back at us, and then they can hear it. The listeners can hear it too. So, what did you think of the link I shared? Were you here in time to see it?
No, I don't think so. Your link? Come again. Tell me what it was.
It was in the very beginning. It's about a 12-minute long link, or a 12-minute long video that I shared about, service to self, service to others. This one actually touched on Christ and how he made it through. He didn't let anything stumble him up, no matter what.
I know. Children. You're my children.
Children?
Still there?
Yeah. I can still hear the echo in the background.
Want you. Let's see what I can do here. Oops, sorry. Hold on. I should just be on the call. I don't think I'm on your video.
Okay, that's fine. If you're on
You
a
wanna
phone,
take it
it's
from yesterday? You want to take it from where I kind of stopped yesterday, and I can start again today?
take it where you want. It's your share.
Well, my little crow friend, I tripped him right the freak out today. My crow, he's a Crow Nation, Crow Reserve, Crow Nation. Tripped him right out today. He was a shirt. It shows that I know, right? I have to do more research. I'm only at 1778, and I gotta go back to like before that. There were a lot more full moons and eclipse moons and everything back 200 years ago, people. I don't know why we can't see them now. I can see the one. We have one right on time. Mine's right on time. back 200 years ago, they were like double eclipses all the time.
I remember
So there-
when we would say once in a blue moon, and once in a blue moon, meant it was a rare thing, and then we have blue moons all the time now.
Well, it's lined up. It was like a minute off of my skylight last night, right? Full moon.
Yeah.
It's all 13. It's all 13. It was doing that. It changed too over time. I had the skylight back in 2016. It was 119. Now it changed it to 120. And vice versa. It just changes all the time.
That's odd.
I need to do a bunch of charts, and I'm going to tell you what year it is and what time of day it is. Like I said the other day, flat Earth is 666 feet above elevation, above sea level. It's a lie. Elevation is higher.
Janice wants to know if
It's
you've
all-
read Enoch, Paul.
Every observance. Yes, I know Enoch.
Okay, that she
That's
asked
one
it
of
in
the
the
things
chat, and I know
had
you
to
couldn't see it.
research. That's one of the things I had to research. No, I'm not in chat. I'm
I know.
talking.
That's what she asked it in the chat. That's why I read it to you, because I know you're not in there.
I read Enoch already. I know Enoch, all the stuff.
Nice.
It's not about Enoch. Wow. I'm the Nemo. I'm lowercase Yeshua. I'm the Moon Man. All that stuff. I don't know how to tell you, y'all, who I am. Nothing can hurt me.
Okay. But you realize that to some degree we're all one, right? Although we're sovereign,
Yeah, we're all one.
we're all one.
Yes, we are. Sovereign we are. Your daughter, am I going to go into your daughter dying? How she died? Because that guy stopped at the right spot to kill her? I know your story.
Well, yeah.
That dude,
I mean, I miss her.
is he still alive, that dude? Because I want to go hurt him.
Well, I don't want you to go hurt him. The driver that was in my daughter's car almost died. It got hit that hard. He was hanging out of the car. It opened the driver's door, although they got hit on her side. The impact was so bad that it flung open his door, and he was hanging out of the car by his seatbelt, unconscious. They didn't expect him to make it through the night, but he lived. And they didn't expect him to be able to walk, talk, remember, or anything. And so he is able to walk, talk, and so I'm really pleased that he made it through the night, and that he is doing so well as he is. He had to have 2 surgeries from this accident. So,
But Michelle, he killed your daughter, and he did it on purpose.
I don't know about that, Paul. I really don't.
I do. I know.
Why would he do such a thing that did such damage to himself.
Because jealousy. Jealous. I know the story. I'm not going to go into the story.
Well, I've only released what I've known, what I find out as I, learn the situation. Now, I want to tell you, he's married and got children. My daughter insisted that they were just friends. We were hoping they were just friends, but apparently they were just friends. So, I can't see, him wanting to take on a situation where it dang near killed him. Now the other driver, there was a semi truck making a right hand turn. When he was making the right hand turn, he was going into a 2-lane, and everybody or anybody that knows anything about how semi trucks have to turn, he would have to go into the left hand lane to straighten out his trailers. So the other truck was a far enough distance away that he could go into the left lane and straighten himself out. It was the speed of the other truck, and instead of slowing down for the semi truck, he went off onto the dirt to go around the semi truck and slammed straight into him. They almost got through the intersection. Almost, they were right there, almost through it. And then when he impacted them, he T-boned them and shoved the vehicle a good 30 foot and then pushed him down into a ditch. So we learn new things as we go. Accidents happen.
I don't want to bring up all hash up old things, but a raw deal, right? A raw deal, right there.
I miss her. Actually, when I was sleeping earlier, this is funny because she told me I called her, and then she's like, well, if you're gonna call me, aren't you gonna talk to me? Like I was calling her on the phone, and then I woke up, it was so real, and I heard her voice. I was looking for a phone. There was no phone in my bed. But she was telling me I was calling her, and she was like, hello, mommy, hello, you called me. So she's close to me, and she's keeping an eye on
believe
things.
in that.
Yeah.
I believe in that.
She knows I love her so much, and she loves me so much, and you know what? I'm happy with that. But is there something that you wanted to talk about? Something else that you wanted to share besides the skylight?
Hold on 2 minutes. I don't know what to say. I just see all the depravity, the problems, the assholes, the way people think that they're not thinking straight.
Yeah, they're distorted in their thoughts. It just breaks down to the two separate people. Either they're service to self or service to others. Janice would like you to share more about who you are.
Who I am?
Yeah.
Who are you? Third claim, bro. This is third claim, bro. This is my friend here. He just showed up at my house.
Oh,
Third
okay.
claim, bro.
Well, it's been over an hour anyway, so a little over an hour. So I will let you go.
He's doing all right.
And
What are we going to Sweat Lodge tomorrow?
Sunday.
We're going to Sweat Lodge on Sunday. I'm going to sweat my ass off on Sunday. Sweat Lodge.
oh boy.
Doing all the crow stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to shut the phones off because it's already been an hour, Paul. But you
Okay,
never
that's
know. I'll
okay.
probably be live
I'm
streaming
fine.
again tomorrow night. You never know when I'm going to spontaneously pop on
Okay.
here. All right. You have a blessed night. And I
You
hope
too.
you go
You have
back
a
into
blessed
the
day and
chat
night.
and see Janice's questions.
Yeah, I'll go back in the chat.
All right, sweetie. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay. Love you too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye.
Okay, let me get rid of the phone number because the phones are off. Do, do, do. Oh. I've got a spinning flower of life. Or tree of life. Right over top of me. I like to put it in one of those little circular vortexes. Okay. And go back to the live. Did you get the answers that you were looking for, Janice? Maybe sometime Paul will actually tell more about himself and what's going on, within him. Like, is he Mandela affected? What kind of phenomena he sees? Now, he did mention that he noticed a big difference in the skylight that he put into the restroom that's close to the backyard. So that way when people use this pool, they come in and go to that restroom and dry off and stuff. So that's a big anomaly right there. I mean, things are moving. Things are like going all different directions. The clip that was shared is fascinating. I'm finding these law of one, this understanding, and with our uniqueness that we all have, and how precious each of us are, the beauty that is within all of us, but at the same time we're one. So when you get that concept down and just totally embrace it, you'll realize you're never alone. And I don't know if it was on this share or the other. It said 3,600 years ago was the incursion where they started tampering with our free will and got us more into service to self instead of allowing the natural progression that was going on. So then the other side they came in 3,300 years ago to try to balance things out. But again, they can only influence. We still have our sovereignty and our right to choose. And then volunteers have come in. I mean, they're doing everything they can possibly to get us into balance, into the understanding that we are all, just boil us down, we are pure love for one another. All we want to do is take care of one another. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And if you are hanging around little droplets that are service to self and you are a service to others, you will be depleted of your resources, and also that it can sway your way that you think about yourself, your self-esteem, and service to others, because you'll start thinking or seeing people that are just out to get whatever they can from you, and it can change you into a service to self type being. So that's why I say don't be a doormat. I mean, choose who you surround yourself with. Surround yourself with people that want the highest good for you and that love you unconditionally, and that unconditional forgiveness And it's a beautiful thing. Just like how we love our children. I couldn't pick a child, nor would I ever want to pick a child and say, you're going to hell and you're going to heaven. So if we think of it from that perspective, then it kind of gives us a better understanding, because we do have examples here. We also have symbols. I'm going to get some more into etymology, on some wordplay, how they use the language that we speak. And actually, you got to really raise above that to see what the language is and how it can be condemning. But also, you can use their very language that they're trying to oppress you with and switch it over into no condemnation. And we just need to understand the words that we speak are just like spells, just like writing. When you're writing, you're spelling. And I gotta tell you, I'm one of the worst spellers. I didn't used to be. I was very good, with that. Well, I'm good with it with spell check. But even listen to that word, spell check. They're going to make sure your spell is effective. I don't want to cast spells on anybody. I just want everybody to realize who and what they are, walk in their divinity, open up the gifts that are within them, with a pure heart and love, unconditional love for one another, which will then follow with respect, and you'll know the divineness that resides within you. That divine breath of life was given to you, just like everybody else. But we still have the right to choose. And if we make the wrong choice, we end up having to come back and try again. I look at this place as a school, but we come in with a mission. When our mission is completed, then we can leave. But if you leave, is it going to hurt or hamper somebody else's walk? And, a lot of us take that into consideration and stick around longer. Although, just like when I had the accident where I met that beautiful gentleman that told me all kinds of wonderful things, and then showed me, it was like so fast too. It was like a succession of like pictures, but a movie like that was it went so fast. And I remember seeing 4, so I'm sure there was more, but each of them did not have a good outcome for one individual, and my heart just couldn't do it to that individual. Whether it be that I knew that they would have to come back and try again, or, what have you. I just didn't want to see that happen. So I made a choice with my heart to come back. Let's see here. Oh, that's okay. Hello. You call it the Charlie Chaplin movie. What, my show? Charlie Chaplin? Really? I'm a comedian? You came in at the very, very end. So I'm going to zip it up. You guys can continue chatting. I will leave the chat open for as long as it will let me. I love you guys so much. And it's just that simple. Use your discernment. Use your discernment on anything that I am sharing. If I'm sharing something with you, go with your gut instincts and, check things out for yourself. Do your own research. So I share things that, resonate with, us all being one. And, equality, sovereignty, unconditional love, and unconditional forgiveness. I resonate with that. But that may not be what, we all resonate with different things. There may be pieces you resonate with and other parts that you don't. So it's an inside job. It starts from inside and then it flows and we get our heart and our mind into one, and then the confusion starts to fall away, and all of the confusion, it's gone, because you are so self-aware that when you have dreams that are catastrophic or almost nightmarish, you'll realize where that influence is coming from, and you will dismiss it. You will just be like, not falling for it, not going to do it. Christ came here to show us the way. He made it. He graduated. He didn't have to come here. He was going into fifth. So, he was fourth. He was going into fifth, but decided to come back into third density to not only show us, but to walk it. So he represented it. He spoke it, and made. He had 12 disciples. So with his 12 disciples, he taught them everything that he knew. And then the one ended up, because he knew that he had these amazing healing abilities, and he was just so pure, but that he wanted him to be king and take over. And that was not what his purpose was to come here. His purpose was to show us what we need to be doing to one another or for one another, in order to get out of this recycle or reincarnation. And I never thought I would ever believe in reincarnation. There's a lot of things, a lot of boxes that I've had to kick down, and in order to get the inner standing and my heart and mind as one, and capture those thoughts that are, coming from other beings or other places, on where are they coming from. Are they coming from the third that fell, that want to oppress mankind? Or are they coming from a source that is not asking us to worship them, but wants us to know who and what we are, and to walk it out in service to others with love in our heart? I love you guys all so much, and share what you know, so we can all listen and grow. Peace. I love you.